that comes into Troy obviously pays personal and real property taxes. The issue in Troy is not only declining values for our residential base, but also an increase in our vacancy rates for commercial and industrial buildings.
So the 75 new business ventures was kind of a pie-in-the-sky presentation to the city in February, where then 10 short months later, we're going to close down the library and the community center and all these other institutions. Did we tell those new business owners that we were going to be raising taxes 10 short months after they made an investment into the city?
We have about 31,000 residential structures, about 6,000 condominiums, and maybe 6,000 businesses. 75 new businesses coming in is very helpful to the city, but when we have about a 30% vacancy rate in our office and a higher vacancy rate for our industrial facilities, although there's an increase in one sector, small sector that comes in, when you take a look at what we lost in terms of the vacancies, it pans out to a negative number.
And do you think higher taxes are going to bring more businesses in or less businesses?
I think that a millage rate that's comparative to other cities in the area, again, in conjunction with how we do business, is the way to go to attract businesses and residences in the city of Troy.
Jack?
Yeah, let me just say this business about comparative to others. Sometimes it's apples and oranges, but I'll go back to numbers. This increase would put us at the point where we're almost 40% above a range of other cities. Oakland Township, for example. That's a pretty good place. Rochester Hills.
But doesn't Oakland Township have a tremendous industrial base?
Rochester Hills, okay? Royal Oak, Madison Heights. 40% higher, okay?
What's wrong with that? Just tell me what's wrong with that. Because I'm sure.
No, the point is, no. I'm just arguing this business that we're all so low, and that gets away from the primary point here, which is if 29% after addressing the cost associated with running the government is truly needed, this organization is out of control. It doesn't know what it's doing. How can you possibly be increasing by 29%? How many individuals in this room have had their pay go up 29% this past year? A couple of them pointed. Good for you.
We got two. Bill, I think Bill's got his pay increase there. Bill, why don't you address that issue?
Yeah, I'm again, these funny numbers, I'm not sure where they come from. But you talk about Rochester Hills, their total millage rate is 9.7 right now, and they don't even provide garbage removal. It's another $180 a month to get your garbage taken care of, which adds to the almost a little over a mil to a real full service. You can go on up. We will end up, even with the 1.9 addition, our total millage in Troy, that it goes to the city of Troy, will put us in the 4th lowest. And those people will not even... And if you think they're going to survive the next 3 years through this crisis without a millage increase,
Jack,
it's going to be...
Do you dispute that?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
yes, I do.
What's your number?
Yeah, my understanding is that this will put us ahead of, up to 40% ahead of comparable cities in many cases. And the important thing to understand with regard to this is, once again, if it's 29%, that's 29% from where we are currently operating. And for anybody to expect to incur a 29% increase, in a sense, out of the blue, it makes no sense. Can a business operate that way? Can it increase its charges by 29%?
No one is going to pay 29% more taxes. No one.
It's 29%.
Not one person is going to pay 29% more in their total tax bill. No one is going to pay...
That's a false point, because it's 29% more than you otherwise should be paying. That's the point.
Okay. So when they go to Rochester Hills, and they actually have to pay more than what they pay here, they don't... The fact that you think that their millage is lower.
I'll tell you one thing. When I came here 10 years ago, when I was told all of a sudden you're going to have a 29% increase in your millage because this city doesn't know what it's doing, I would be rather surprised. I would not say that's a particularly attractive place.
I have a general comment. All the residents have taken pride in the fact that Troy is not common, not as just like every other Oakland County community in terms of its police department, the record it has, the library, all the other things, the schools. The schools. Troy is a happy hunting ground for honor students. My university and Ivy Leaguers come here. And this is because this is where these people live. And we take pride in not being at the average, way above it. Why then is it suddenly to go do a regression to the mean and try and become as low as anybody else?
No,
this is just a dive to the bottom.
Jack,
that's a bad philosophy.